4 times as many students.
Wait, I know.
Love it.
Love it. You want to get my squished candy? You want it? You want it?
I'm good.
Bro, are you sure?
All right, you can start.
Okay. Oh wait. Give us a second.
Okay.
Okay, wait.
I played a prank on my frenzy yesterday. They all fell for it. All right, next.
Bro, that's so bad. What in the world?
Um,
Okay. Yeah, but welcome to our second to last JavaScript course. So we're going to be going over advanced object-oriented programming, which is a very important concept to learn. But yeah, we are going to be not going over the homework, but Ashrika is going to be going over some concepts to start us off.
Okay, so if you guys remember,
Shoot.
sorry, okay. Before we talked about making objects, right? And so if you can see, we've defined a broccoli object and we have a bunch of like characteristics of this broccoli object, like its name, its price, its inventory. But, you know, the economy changes. So what happens if the price of broccoli changes? Then how can we update the inventory as it sells? You get more broccoli, or like if it's more expensive, maybe less people buy broccoli. So we know our objects aren't static, so how do we get them to change? If we go to the next slide. Basically, in JavaScript, if you need to modify an object to update the value of its properties, you can do the same way that you access objects. So quick recap, the two ways you can access the property of an object, you can either have the name dot the property name, or you can use the brackets and the property name in quotes. And then to update that value, you just set it equal to whatever new value you want. So, wait, if you click one more. Say, okay, we have this broccoli object, right, that we saw before. Let's say that the price increases to 250. Can someone tell me how you think you could update the price of the broccoli object? Yes, ma'am.
I do broccoli dot price is equal to $2.50.
And then, okay, now if I want, say I got 50 heads of broccoli, right? So now I have 50 more, like the inventory is increased by 50. Can someone tell me how you do that?
Broccoli dot inventory equals to 50.
Almost, but we have 50 more.
Oh, okay.
So-
Broccoli dot inventory equals 80.
Yes, exactly. So you can see, another thing you can do plus equals 50, which just means the current inventory equals, you know, whatever the current inventory is plus 50, so that would be 80. So, any questions about that so far? Okay. So we move on.
There are a lot of slides of just this.
Okay. Okay, so another thing, so we have our previous broccoli item, right? But say I want to update, we got like multiple brands of broccoli, so now I want a new property, same brand, which indicates, oh, what brand of broccoli is this? How would we do that? If we move on to the next slide, we can. We do it the exact same way, except now like, so it's the same format of how you access objects and how you update the value of it. You have your object name, and then you can either do dot and then whatever new property name, or you can have it in brackets and have the new property name and just set it to whatever value. So in the previous example, we had our broccoli, we wanted to add brand property, we could do broccoli dot brand and then say whatever brand you want. So then if you go to the next slide. Okay. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was talking about. With someone. You can do broccoli dot brand, that becomes broccoli ink. And then you can see the new object, it would have like a brand property. So say I wanted to like add a property for the expiration date of the broccoli, how would you think to do that?
Broccoli dot expiration equals.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We can move on to the next slide. Okay. A note for accessing properties, so you can add new properties by doing the same notation of like dot property name or in the brackets property name. and that's how you can create any property, but you always have to give it a value. You can't just access properties that haven't been defined yet. So if we have our original broccoli object, I couldn't just call broccoli.brand and try and like print it out. That would print out undefined because we don't know what the brand is yet. But if I wanted to do broccoli.brand equals broccoli inc and then call it, then I could do that if that makes sense. Okay. And then, okay. Moving on a little bit. Another thing you mentioned with objects, we have like predefined objects in JavaScript, like functions, arrays, etc. But where do they all get their properties from? So like if you remember we talked about arrays, we had functions that were already defined like dot push. But we didn't have to like implement push, it was already there. So where does that come from? It comes from something called prototypes. So if you think about when we talked about inheritance, like a child can get properties from its parents, it's basically like the same thing. So every object in JavaScript inherits properties from their respective prototypes, like functions has a function prototype, arrays have an array prototype. And then it's like kind of a chain. So the function prototype will have and like its own prototypes, like function prototype, and at the very top of the chain will be the object prototype. And everything, all of the objects in Java inherit from that. And so this is a little like, it can be a long chain, but you don't have to set any of these relationships manually. The JavaScript does it for you. It's just like useful to remember. Yeah, and so I think Jenna.
Yeah, so going off of what she said, this is kind of like, oh, okay, yeah. This is kind of like the diagram of like how prototypes work. If you go on the next slide, I'll give you like an example so we all understand it. So let's just say we're building like a racing game. So can everyone give me like a car brand or like a, is it car type? So let's go.
A model.
A model, my bad. Let's go from left to right.
Ford F-150.
All right.
BMW.
Okay.
Honda.
Okay, Joyce.
Toyota Camry.
Okay, perfect. So we have 4 different types of cars, right? But each of these cars like all share the same property, right? So that's kind of like what we're trying to do here. Since all of these cars have like 4 wheels, we're not trying to make like 4 different objects that have the same field of like 4 wheels because that's like obvious, right? So what we do is we're going to create like a master object called vehicle that just has all like the shared properties. Do you want to show what? Why are you laughing though?
Nothing.
Okay. So can anyone tell me like another shared trait of like all the cars that you just mentioned, other than wheels, maybe? No. Yes, or this one of you guys?
They got 4 doors.
Okay, very good. Yes, Mel?
They all drive.
Okay,
They should probably have a dot drive function.
okay, that is true. Anyone else? Yeah. Steering wheels, perfect. So yeah, these are kind of like a few different traits that we can put into like a vehicle. Yes, Mo?
Well, I have a question. Let's say you have a car with 3 wheels. How do you differentiate that? Can you no longer include in the vehicle prototype?
In that case, what you can do is you can also add it to the specific vehicle, right? So the vehicle can have, and basically what it will do is override the 4 number wheels. But also, who in the world has a car that has 3 wheels?
You've
Only
never
you,
seen
right?
them?
No, bro. Bro. I don't wanna, if I see that on the roads, bro, I'm actually like, wait, show them what it looks like.
Wait, I feel like everyone's seen this thing. Ooh, it's so hard.
Bro, all right. Okay, but yeah, so how do we do this? There's actually a field called underscore underscore proto underscore underscore, which is like a property that you can use to like link 2 different classes. So let's take a look at an example. Here we have an object called vehicle, and then we also have an object called car. The car has a MPG field, and then the vehicle has a number of wheels field. So the first line says console.log car.number of wheels. If we look in to the object car though, does the car object have like that specific field?
No, ma'am.
No, exactly. So what would this first line print? Perfect. Yeah, exactly. However, whenever you do the dot underscore underscore proto the underscore underscore and you connect it with vehicle, which is kind of like that parent, right? If you console.log car.num wheels, what would it print out? Exactly. Yeah, so you can kind of see how that works, right? Let's go on to the next example. Can someone kind of like run me through like how I did like last slide, what this does? You can start by like, yeah, Smoke can start us off.
Well, you have an animal object, and they all eat.
Okay. And then,
Well, I thought I was starting us off
okay,
for
stop
the
it.
fellow classmates.
Does anyone want to continue where most left off?
Uh, if you use the sleep function, it prints out I am sleeping.
Okay, okay. And then does someone want to explain the dog field? I mean, dog object?
Um, the dog.
Has another field, which is basically another function, right? That's Spark.
Well, bark isn't quite defined in this one, which might be an alarm for some of y'all, but don't worry, it can be defined elsewhere.
That is very true. Great point, Mo. So yeah, so what does the first line do? Can someone explain? Yes, Mo?
Well, it makes it that the prototype of a dog is an animal. So that way the dog has access to all of the animal's functions.
Perfect. So whenever you do dog.sleep, even though dog technically doesn't have the field sleep, right? It can access the sleep function from animal, which is how prototype inheritance works. So here we have another object called test, and what it's doing inside the function is that it wants to take and return the prop field. So in this case, since we're calling a specific, like your own self's like property, if that makes sense, we're gonna use the keyword this. So in this case, you're literally just gonna take prop and then print out 42. The reason why you guys might be wondering like why we're not doing like test.prop, you can definitely do that and it will work. However, like what if you change like the title of the object itself? In that case, then you have to go and to the return and then type in like test or like change it to whatever you change it to. So it just helps with like organization. Yeah, so now we're going to be shifting gears a little bit and going over conditional operators. I'm pretty sure you guys know what equals equals and not equals does. Um, for there is this like kind of like a special case though. If you look at the bottom one, 3 is equal to like the string 3. In that case, this will return true. But in the next slide, we're gonna think about that a little bit. In the next slide, we're gonna like look into exactly why. So why does it do that? It's because what JavaScript does behind the scenes is that it actually turns a string 3 into the number, and then from there it compares it and sees if it's the same. So that's how that works. And then, how many of you have seen like the equals 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 before? Yeah. So those are basically to test the value, both the value and type. Um, so if you basically have like a string and the int 3, they're gonna say false because they're not the same type. So let's go through some examples. Starting us off, does anyone want to say what the first one would be? Okay. Next one. Okay. Next one. Good. Next one. Yeah. Next one.
Oh, no, that's true.
Because remember what it does? It turns a string into a digit, and like true is like 0 or 1, right? And true is like 1. So they're equal to each other. Does that make sense? Yeah, yeah. And the last one. Okay. Thanks, Mo. But yeah, does anyone have any questions about this? We're all good. Okay. So suppose now, going back to what I mentioned previously, we have an array of students, and each student is an object. For example, Mo is a student and he has specific properties. I'm also a student and Ashika is also a student, right? But what if I wanted to do everybody in this class? I'm not trying to type out like let student equals and then all of that information, right? It's very repetitive and it's not a good way. So how we do this is using arrays and loops. So let's take a look at this step by step. We have our first array called names. Mo, you want to read out our names for us?
Yeah, so we have McMo, Jendy's, Applebee's, Shweka. I don't know why that wasn't updated.
Bad.
And then, yes.
Okay, perfect.
My favorite color is not beaver.
I don't care. And then we have ages. So Mo's 2 years old. I'm 18. Patrick is 18, and Yash is 49. And his favorite color is beaver. Mine is apricot, whatever. Hers is maroon, and Yash's is
It's not my
periwinkle.
favorite color.
I don't care. And then we initialize our array called students, and then the for loop is where we're actually going to be filling everything out. So the student's I is basically going in and starting from index 0 and creating an object for every single student. So names 0 would get McMo, and then same with ages would get 2, and it would get beaver, and it would set basically all of the fields in the specific object. Cool. Next slide. However, what if we're like trying to go to a classroom and we want to see like the availability of each seat? We can't really do that with like normal arrays, right? Because we can only like have like one specific row. We can't have like multiple rows. Which is why 2D matrix 2D go to the next slide. Multi-dimensional arrays come into hand. These are basically the same thing as arrays, except each index of an array holds another array. Here in the little matrix, you can kind of see the indexing. So you start from 0, 0, and then obviously as the columns increase, you increase by 1, and the rows increase, you decrease by 1. So can anybody tell me if I said is open bracket 0 and then 1, what that would give me? What would that output? So if you look in, wait, can I? Yeah, if you look at this one right here, which index would this row be in? 0, right? Yeah. And then this one would be which column? 1. Perfect. So if I said is open 0, 1, that would return true. What about is open 1, 2? Good.
What about
Perfect.
2, 1? Yeah.
Good. Yeah, you guys got it. So this is just continuing on what I was talking about. Basically, if someone wanted to specifically sit in the second row and fourth column, what do you guys think like we should set the code to?
Second row, fourth column.
Yeah.
Any ideas, guys?
I guess yes, Yash.
One.
Perfect. Exactly. If you go to the next slide. Yeah. And then you would set it equal to false. So does anyone have questions about multi-dimensional arrays? Any concerns? Okay. Yeah. And then of course, wait, go back to slide. Even though this is a 2D dimensional array, each of these rows are actually just normal arrays, right? So you can use the methods that we learned in our previous lectures. For example, if you wanted to find the length of a specific array, all you would have to do is just get the row that you would want, and then you would follow the specific function that you want to use. So is open 1, and then you would do dot length to get the specific length. Okay, so obviously 2D dimensional arrays are super important. Chess is also a great example. Can you guys think of like another example that, would be useful to use 2D arrays?
Have you ever like done something and you're like, oh, this is a square? in
Bro,
front
what?
of-
What does that even mean?
It's that, one game where they put down
Mhm.
like ships, and you have to like.
Oh, yeah.
Ships around, you're getting-
Battleship? Yeah. That's a great example. Yeah. Perfect. So does anyone have any questions about any of the content that we've covered? Okay, cool. So now I'm gonna hand it off to Mo to do our demo.
Hey guys, so today our demo is going to be creating and modifying objects inside of arrays. So we'll write code to populate an exam object into an array, add a new property to each object, and conduct operations that use information from all the objects in the array. So if we can all pull up our
Yeah.
VS Code.
If y'all want to open the repo, if you don't
Circle,
have
circle.
like access to it, and you want it, let me know. I can help you out. Or if you just want to follow along on like your own thing, if it's like if you don't want to, it's chill.
Okay.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, guys, so as always, the first thing that we're gonna do is pull in the changes from the main repo. So we're gonna git checkout main,
Can you zoom in, please? Thank you.
git fetch upstream, and then it should be git merge upstream main. Yeah. Then you got to do the 17 merge request issues. Merge remote, please enter commit message. Oh my God. Boom, we've pulled everything in. So now we have the week 7 demo, which is vastly underpopulated from the last semester that did this. So if you can give me a second to look at the slide demo. Okay. So the first thing that we're gonna want to do is, like we were saying last time, is make an exams object, right? So let's start off with just like let exams equal this, okay? And then we're gonna have student name. Oh, actually, we don't need to do any of this. Let's go around the room and every person will choose 4 lucky people to be people that took the test and then what grade they got. So let's start with Yash. So we'll have let students equal array, Yash, Yash. And then we'll do Mehir. I think that's how you spell your name. And then we'll do is it Mihir? Okay. I swear I saw you on a LinkedIn. It was MAH. And then we'll do okay. So we have 3 people and they all took the test. And then let's do let grades equal. So for Yash, we got
Yo, I don't think he did too well.
5. And here you got like a 95, and Keandre, you got a 95 too. Just I don't have any favoritism. Okay, so like we were saying last time, we want this to like we want these people to like be put into an exam object, like an array of exam objects. So does anyone remember how do we do that using a loop from the slideshow? It's okay. My memory is a little hazy too, so there's no judgment here. But what I think you do is for entire is equal to 0 while I is less than. Ah, it's let in JavaScript, guys. I is less than students length I plus plus, and then Loki. Can we just do like let exams equals an empty array, and then we can do exams at I is equal to. Wouldn't it be like student name is gonna be students
Wait,
at
stop.
I?
How do you guys think?
Oh, sorry, you're stopping.
Oh, it's fine. Continue.
And then, okay, how do we store it so like your grade is also on your little exam report? Any ideas?
Wait, which
If Yash got a 3, how would we classify that Yash got a 3? What does Yash and 3 have in common? They share an index, right? So how would you translate that in here? Okay, but okay, Joyce. Yeah, that's exactly. You do grades at I. And then you end it with a comma. Okay. But now, hello, Yash.
You guys think this code works?
No, because you don't need a comma then. Yeah, sure. Node week 7, we're doing a little test run for Yashi. It compiles, so all is good. Yeah. Okay, well, here's the cool thing is our students, especially the one who got a 3, isn't too good at understanding, hey, what grade is that on my test? So as score makers and people who handle grading, we want to make sure that every student also knows in their exam report what their letter grade will be. So I'll give you guys some time to discuss amongst yourselves how that may be done.
I think that.
Okay, thank you guys for partaking. Well, it's really simple actually. You loop, you do the same idea, right? You're always gonna make loops over things, and then I plus plus, right? And then how do you guys remember anything about switch statements maybe?
Until it gets the
Right. So how can we use that idea to um it's fine. Let's just use if statements. That'll be easier for you guys. Okay, how would we use an if statement?
if student grade is less than 60 equals add.
If exams I is less than 60, then we're gonna make exams I. You're very right, but then do you remember that cool thing how you can actually add in properties without having to do too much? All you do is dot letter grade equals F. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then let's say we wanted to make like a 60 to a 70 is a D. Any idea on how we would implement that? Taker gets the squished Milky Way.
It's not that squish,
Like
bro.
let's say like from a 60 to a 70, you want their grade to be a D. Any idea how you would implement that?
And
Oh wait, okay, and okay, just one. And then same as before, we just do exams I dot letter grade is equal to a D. Okay, well in this class we're very forgiving. What's up? Yeah, can you throw?
Seriously? Wait, it's like really squish. Oh,
What a
gosh.
throw.
My bad.
Okay, now let's say this.
Because you don't even have to do greater or equal to 60, right? It's else if.
Yeah, you don't have to.
Yeah.
But this is like good
Yeah,
practice. Okay, let's say hypothetically that this class was very forgiving and every other grade's just an A. Any idea how you would implement that?
What's the last thing? Like, nothing else matters. What's like the fallback? What word do you use for that? So you have if, else if, and then what's the last thing?
Hello, Joyce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just do else exam that I that letter grade. Oh no, the grade is equal to an A. Okay, and then let's make sure that we have done everything right. So let's console.log exams. So as you can see here, Yash got a 3, and he sadly failed the course. However, our code is pretty bulletproof, so you can add in cases as you want. So let's do big $ Mo, right? And then let's say I got a 65. Okay. What do you guys think that my grade should be based on our if statements? A D? Let's see if it works. Ooh, it's a D. But how come this is the wow, I really am big dog, bro. Why is mine the only one spread out? Um,
Yeah, bro.
I think that's gotta be it. I don't know why else they do it like that for me and me only. Maybe it's because I matter a lot. Okay, guys. Now let's say that we want to determine the test average throughout the entire course. Okay? Any ideas, any takers on how we would hypothetically do that?
So how do you guys calculate the average? What do you need?
Add up all the test numbers and then divide it by the amount of
Perfect.
people that's like,
Yeah.
So how would we do that?
we, sum if, maybe, there's just some.
And then what?
Probably been going.
It's,
Okay, I'm this is all the code I'm gonna give you guys. And you
Joyce? No, I don't think anyone else wants to.
weird probably.
I do, yeah, students only.
no. No. That's yeah, you can do students dot length. You can do students dot length, but I want to just demonstrate it another way. So let's do exams dot length. Oh no, let's explore that second, third exams dot length. And then what? Yeah. So then, Joyce, how do we access every exam block and then get the correct value to add to summation?
Well, you're like adding up all the grades, right?
Yeah. Well, what am I plus equaling? Yeah, of course. And here's also all the this.
Hello, can you type?
Exams, not great.
Huh?
Exams.
Hello?
Were you born yesterday?
Because this is like let's say I also wanted to like include some sort of like weird way of like correlating their grade with like where they rank in the median. I'd also want to know their name, like stuff like that. So just in case, it's nice to always access the big object that contains all the information.
Wait, think of it like a physical paper exam where it has like your name, your score, and your letter grade. So like the exam's object is like basically holding all of the exam.
Okay.
Amazing. And then, do you have any, does anyone else have any idea how we would compute the average from here? What did you say?
Is it exam problem?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And then let's console.log average. And then let's see if this works. Our average was a 64.5, which means I scored above average. And Yash is 7 standard deviations below the average. Oh, no. Okay, any questions on how this code works? Anyone care about this code?
Yes.
Yeah, what's up, Yash?
Oh,
Okay. Okay, do you have any questions? This is very complicated code. Can you have a question? How would I optimize the runtime of this code? The runtime of this code is O(n), bro. Dude, you can do it so like you're looping I is equal to 0 and then increase it by 2 each time, and then access exams at I and exams at I plus 1 each time, and then you're technically doing n over 2 instead of n. So the T of n is low-key faster, but it's the same O of n. Yeah. So then you just do instead of this, you do plus equals 2. And then you just do. So then you're doing 2 computations per little thing. And then, but this only works for even. So if you're not even, sorry. Are you mad? Are you mad I gave you the answer? Is that more efficient or no? Yes. Yeah, you could combine the loops together. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, okay. Any more questions that will have to do more with the code that I wrote instead of how to make it better?
I have a question.
Hello.
What if what if you wanted to place everybody in a room like this?
Oh, that's a that's a sophisticated question that you have just raised to me. Okay. I will let's actually write that out right now. Um, so let's seats equals this, right? And then for this one, you're actually gonna have a double for loop, right, guys? Because it's a multi-dimensional array. Do we have to do this?
No, actually I take my question back.
Basically, you would do that, and then you would do two loops, and then add stuff to the array as you go.
Yeah.
Okay, has anyone done the week 6 homework? Because you get a candy if you did.
We have one more candy.
Anyone do the homework? Okay, anyone want to do the homework for this week? Okay, I don't want to either. Okay, then if no one has any more questions, we can go to our closing remarks and finish it off. So congratulations on finishing the the advanced object orienting class. And our next class will actually be the last class of the semester, which is not April 15th. It is actually April 9th, I think. So this date is wrong, but it's April 9th. And we would love to see you guys there. Furthermore, if you want to handle more than just the business side, you can find us at texasproduct.org and you can email us right here. And we've built stuff at all these companies. You can
Plus,
add Jump Trading, you can add Expedia, you can add
Lo-
Two Sigma, and you can add Lowe's and Optiver and who else? Who else did we hit? CrowdStrike. Uh, yeah, we low-key work everywhere. Everyone here is very cracked, very rich. We would love to get you guys, and as a fellow, you get close personal mentorship in your area of focus. And even if you're not just interested in engineering, we're just like this over here. It's engineering, and to be honest, next semester we're planning on like or like they have been speaking about plans of like changing how we're gonna teach our course. So if you're like JavaScript isn't your thing and stuff like that, like don't let that be the barrier that stops you from applying to TPO because we're gonna be moving into a lot more agentic and AI and like just like stuff that's critical in day-to-day life instead of just I mean JavaScript and full stack is still gonna be a premise, but just like taught in different ways, I think. Um
Here. Um, yeah, what kind of what Mo said, what we're changing, we're gonna shoot for fall curriculum next year. And we'll still cover full stack fundamentals, but we'll start with a lot more focus on like that's things like you mentioned, agentic AI, system design, all the kind of things you need for being like a good suite of the modern era. And these are some of the perks we have where we have like mentorship, good networking opportunities, like ability to like work on projects and like although we, you know, advertise full stack as our thing, like honestly a lot of us work in different fields.
do we even have a single full stack dev in TP? I don't think any of us go into TP. Oh, Sarah? Okay.
So like we have full stack people, we also have like quant, we have big tech, we have like a lot of variety, like what we do ML, so.
And to be honest, like I feel like my time in like T like I don't feel like the stuff I'm doing was like I don't think like the good part of TPO is what you do in it. It's like the fact that you're surrounded by like people who like take stuff so seriously when it matters. Like I feel like I wouldn't have a job if I wasn't in this org because I'd just be farting in my dorm like thinking about the next burger to eat. But like being surrounded by like people that actually work, it makes me want to work and then you get results out of that. So we'd love to have you guys next semester. And I saw you were in TPC. Congratulations, but if you get into TPO, you'll we're low-key the better product org by a mile. So no sneak this, but oh no, I'm pretty sure. But I heard they have fun, so I'm glad you're in it.
How like the product manager aspect of it works?
Product is
Like just in general, like is it the mentorship in general?
Yeah, it's like very similar, like so what engineering is, except they go through a different curriculum than us. So like they'll teach you like how product management works, like documentation, like stages of like building out of products, and things like that.
There's also less products than there are engineers, but that doesn't mean like there's also like you still have like a great like everyone there is pretty smart too. Like a lot of our product people are very cracked and like doing a lot of good stuff this summer. So it's like you still have like the same network and the same like good things that make TPO good. Even if you're like design, we also have really good designers. I haven't really like talked to that many designers, but I'm sure they're pretty good. So, any more questions? Come on, you have the big yes back there, bro. That's your engineer and director, bro.
So like you're fellow like your first year in org, second semester you end up working on like a repo project, you give you a prompt, you have to build something, it's very open-ended. But then in your sophomore year of in the org, you work on a project with a nonprofit area, and you end up working with that, to build something, hopefully like this one. So it's just kind of like following.
But like I was saying, like I feel like genuinely a big focus, like a big upside of TPO for me wasn't the projects. Like it's the fact like you're generally gonna be around some of the smartest people you know, bro. Like I didn't know how smart people can get until I like talked to some of these guys. Like they're leagues above, like above me. You know what I mean? So it's like it's very interesting to like on some glaze stuff even like I'm not even gonna hide this. This is true glaze, but honestly, like you get like like a variety of people that you wouldn't get in like your classes. Like you know what I mean? So I'd recommend it. Raise your hand if you're gonna apply to TPO next semester. Raise your hand if you're gonna apply for engineering. Okay. Well, okay, if on your application you throw in attended JavaScript, yeah. So it definitely does matter, but we can't guarantee anything. There's like 300 applicants. So make sure to go to your networking events and maybe hit up Yash on Instagram, be like, hey, I'd love to have a coffee chat with you. But other than that, I think meeting adjourned.
Yep. Thanks for coming, guys. Please come to next week's meeting as well. It's gonna be our last one, so obviously best one, right?